Okay, so main topic of this lecture is orthogonal property, domains, and range. So let's just read. Properties may have domain and range defined. Okay, and then here is what the definition for the domain, right? And then here's the definition for the range. So please read. Basically, the domain is set of the object. Basically, it's a class. Set of all object means basically the class, right? That have that property asserted about it, and the range is also a set of object, meaning the class, right? That can have the value of the property. Okay, that's the definitions. So let's just look at the example, right? I mean, I told you that I'm going to teach this ontology using example. So learn by example for you guys, and for me is teach by example, right? That's the method that I'm using. So let's just take a look at the example, right? Has topping, right? So we have has topping. Okay, hold on, let me just use the something else. Okay, I just opened the paint. Okay, I need a white space. So, okay, so basically they're talking about the property. Property has topping would link the individual belonging to the pizza and the pizza topping. And also it's reverse property is topping, then basically, I mean, that there's an inverse property of has topping, right? The inverse property of has topping is topping of, right? Okay, so basically they're talking about, they're using has topping and is topping of as examples, okay? So what it means is that, okay, so let's just talk about has topping, okay? So we know that it has topping, right? So we know that pizza has topping of, let's say, seafood, topping, vegetable topping, meat topping, and etc. Right? So we know that on the left side there must be a pizza, right? Because this has topping, right? Has topping will connect the instance of pizza to what? Instance of the pizza topping, right? So now that is connected by this object property, like this, right? So the pizza, one instance of pizza, one individual pizza has this specific pizza topping, right? So the left side, right? The class that has to be placed on the left side of has topping, this should called what? Domain. Okay? On the left side. The things on the right side, right? The class that has to be on the right side of this object property is called range. Right? So now formally, the pizza class is a domain of has topping property, and the pizza topping is a range of object property has topping. Okay. Now, maybe I should draw the arrow. Okay, so like oops. Okay, let me just use the blue. Right, so there is an arrow. Okay, now we know that we have inverse properties called is topping of, right? So we know that we have inverse. Oops, I'm gonna use red. Okay, now we have inverse properties called what is topping of, right? So the arrow is from the right to left. So for the is topping property, for this object, this particular object property, now what? Domain is what? Domain is pizza topping. You see the arrow? Arrow is from right to left. And then range is what? The pizza. right? So because a pizza topping, one instance of pizza topping, or the one individual of the pizza topping is topping of specific pizza, right? So for this specific property, domain should be the pizza topping, the range should be the pizza, right? So that's what they are saying in the tutorial. Okay, that's what they're saying. So they're talking the pizza topping and is topping of. Okay, so now next, for the exercise 11, right? We're gonna add domains and what the range for the object property called has topping. Okay. So now just open your project, right? And then go to the object property, right? We know that has base is what? Inverse of is base of. And for the has topping is inverse of is topping of, right? I mean, this is something they've implemented in the previous lecture, right? So now what I'm going to do is just click has topping, and then you see the domain. So I'm going to click the domain, and then make sure that you select the class hierarchy. And you know that a pizza should be the domain, right? So click OK. Right now it's a domain, right? And for the range, should be the pizza topping, right? So OK. So now, OK. So now, now the next step is what? Just go back. You know, the next step is synchronize the reasoner, right? I'm going to run the reasoner basically. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a reasoner, but before you run a reasoner, right, make sure that you save your work, okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, before I run a reasoner, I mean, if you don't see the synchronized reasoner, but yeah, just either, I mean, if you have not yet, ran a reasoner before, then you can click the start reasoner. I mean, if you previously ran a reasoner, then I think your choice is a synchronized reasoner. So choose either start reasoner or the synchronized reasoner. Okay, either one of them. But anyway, but before you even run a reasoner, right? Well, make sure that you choose the palette. By the way, the palette reasoner, right? And then you have to say save as total index. I mean total, and then since this is section 4.9. So the pizza, chapter 4-9, right? And then save it. I think you may see this, this message or not, but I'll say yes. Okay, so now, once you save your work, right, you can synchronize the reasoner with the click start reasoner, either of them, right? So for me I'll just choose a synchronized reasoner because I ran a reasoner a couple of times before. So, okay. So I'll say synchronize the reasoner. I mean, after I ran a reasoner, right? What you can do is just click this property is topping of, that is topping of the inverse property of has topping, right? When you click this, now you know that it's a domain is pizza topping and the range is pizza. This domain and ranges are swapped. And then also you see that this yellow highlight, right? This yellow highlight. This means this is done by the reasoner. Remember, I did not really type pizza topping or the pizza for the is topping property, right? For this, for this property, right? I did not really, enter this. This is done by what? Reasoner, because this is yellow, right? Yellow. You see the yellow highlight, right? So that means this is done by what? Done by the palette reasoner. So what reasoner does is what? They make the inference, right? They make the inference because they know that it has topping. I mean, is topping of is an inverse property of has topping, right? So they know that it's domain and then range are swapped, right? So they automatically, I mean, they make the inference, right? And they put these informations. Pizza topping as a domain of is topping of property, and then pizza as a range for this is topping of property basically, right? So this is done by the reasoner after reasoner, right, made the inferences. Okay? So this is like, as you can see, this is where the power is, right? Reasoner, not like the simple database, right? You know, the database, for example, SQL database, right? They cannot make any inference, right? So compared to the, you know, I mean, so, you know, compared to the SQL database and then this ontology or knowledge base, SQL database is kind of dumb because they cannot really think. They cannot reason, right? They cannot reason about the properties. They cannot reason about the classes. They cannot reason about the relationship. But later on, we're going to use, the reasoners more often, right? Then you can see the power, right? The power of the reasoners, right? Okay, so thank you. So I'm going to move to, oh, by the way, exercise 12, right? I think we have please read this, by the way. Okay, please read, read about the intersections, and please read this. I'm going to skip this, but you should read. This is important. And let's see. Okay, and the exercise 12, right? The exercise 12, I think this is something that you should do on your own. So this is going to be what? This is going to be your homework assignment. Okay, so I'll talk more about, I'm going to make the separate video just for the homework assignment, right? But I think you need to do a couple of more exercise for your homework assignment. But anyway, so I'm not gonna do it this, right? This exercise 12. So I think you can just finish this in a few minutes. Just follow the instructions, right? And then read the instructions and just follow the instructions. I think you can complete this exercise 12 without any problem. But think about it, right? In terms of ranges and domains and etc. Okay, so thank you.